सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय। 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 ॐ नमः शिवाय। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। ॐ नमो भगवते वैवस्वताय मृत्यवे ब्रह्मविद्याचार्याय Nachiketase cha. The fourth valli begins with pointing out where actually we go wrong. What is the mistake we commit in this world? And what is the mistake committed? We trust our sense organs. These sense organs are extroverted. These extroverted sense organs are not designed to know our true nature. But then if we use our sense organs to know us, know the true nature about ourselves, what will it come and tell us? So these sense organs will say, we are mortal beings. That is a limitation of that sense organ. It is exactly like if you want to see the color of an object, you cannot use your ears. Ears are not the right instrument. If you want to taste something, you cannot use your eyes. Isn't it? When you use the wrong instrument to gain the knowledge, then that wrong instrument will be only a erroneous knowledge. So in the same way, if I want to know myself, sense organs are not the means to know. So this valli begins saying the Lord has cursed the sense organs by being extroverted, and therefore these sense organs are only looking outward, not antaratman. And the solution to all our problem is to know ourselves. This is the only solution. And these sense organs are not capable of doing that. So the wise people, what do? Avritta chakshuhu. They look within. What happens to those people who follow the sense organs and never pay attention to the inner self? Te yanti mrityoho vitatasya pasham. They fall into that snare of death. This is what happens. Can they be happy in life? Never. They will be totally deluded in life. Misery alone will be their lot. Wise people, they look within, seeking that state of immortality, and they gain it in their own self. Okay. Bhagavan, what do you mean by avritta chakshu? Looking within. What is it that we have to do? So then Bhagavan says, so here Bhagavan means who? Lord Yamaraj. So Bhagavan says, Yena rupam rasam gandham shabdan sparshanscha maithunan etenaiva vijanati kimatra parishishyate. That with which you experience different sensation of the sensations. Rupam, rasam, gandham, shabdan, sparshan. The five. What is that with which you experience it? So that consciousness, in the light of which we are conscious of these. Etenaiva vijanati. You know it with this. Shift your attention there. That consciousness should be the object of your attention. Not what you see, but with what you see. So here this meditator is not paying attention to the object. Meditator is paying attention to the consciousness in the light of which that object is seen. This is called as Vedantic meditation. Right. So are we using the sense organs? Yes. That transaction is happening. Sense organs are transacting with the sense objects. There is no problem. You see, in the beginning sense organs are criticized. But then here we will see that sense organs are utilized. You don't have to break your eyes and ears, etc. No. In that transaction, shifting the attention is all what is needed. In the language of bhakti, how will you say? Now this is the language of knowledge. In the language of bhakti, if you turn the attention of the sense organs to the Lord, those sense organs will be your best friend. The very same sense organs which can tie you down to Maya, which can create bondage for you, the very same sense organs can be used to liberate you also. Isn't it? So the devotional literature like Mukundamala says, Jihve kirtaya keshavam muraripum Cheto bhaja sridharam Panidvandva samarchayachyuta katha Shrotradvayam tvam shrunu Krishnam lokaya Lochanadvaya hare Gacchangri yugmalayam Jigragrana mukunda pada tulasi Murdhana madhokshajam. Oh, my dear sense organs, turn your attention to God. Jihve, O tongue, kirtaya keshavam muraripum. O tongue, chant the name of the Lord. This is the purpose for which you are here. Cheto bhaja sridharam. O mind, meditate upon the Lord. Pani dvandva. O my two hands, samarchaya. Worship that Lord. Achyuta katha shrotradvaya tvam shrunu. Listen to the kathas of the Lord. The 2 ears, you are meant for that. Krishnam lokaya, lochanadvaya. O 2 eyes of mine, look at the beautiful form of the Lord. Gacchangri yugmalayam, my 2 legs, go to the sacred places, the temples of the Lord. Right? Jigragrana mukunda pada tulasim, the tulasi which is offered at the feet of the Lord. O nose, take that fragrance. More than namadhokshajam. Oh, my head, bow down to the Lord. Now see what is happening here. The very same sense organs are used for remembering the Lord. Remember, in devotion, the language used is remembrance of the Lord. In knowledge, the language used is abiding in the self. They are both one and the same. Bhakti and jnana, they are not two. They are the same. Only the language is different. That's all. This clarity has to be there. Otherwise, unnecessarily people fight. Both are one and the same. So whatever path you are inclined to follow that, you will reach the same place. Some are inclined to follow the path of knowledge, then these languages will have to be used. Abidance in the self, paying attention to consciousness. These are all the language of knowledge. What will be the language of devotion? Remembering the lotus feet of the Lord. That will be the language of devotion. Okay. The language appear to be different, but both are one and the same. Okay. So, shift your attention to this consciousness, because of which you are conscious of all your experiences. This is Vedantic meditation. Pay attention to that consciousness, because of which you are conscious of your thoughts in the mind. So at the seat of meditation, what do? When you sit with closed eyes, you are seeing the thoughts. But where is your attention? Not upon the thoughts. Your attention is upon the witnessing consciousness, which is witnessing the thought. So shifting attention to consciousness itself is remembering the Lord. Forgetting this consciousness and getting carried away by the sense objects due to likes and dislikes itself is forgetting the Lord. Right. So this has to be understood. So this is Vedantic meditation, paying attention to consciousness. So yesterday we saw, so for the beginner, what is the best way? Just be in the present. Whatever activity, whatever job you're doing, just pay attention there. That is the starting point. Don't allow the mind to wander here and there. Don't allow the mind to wander in the future or the past. Put the mind in the present. This is a meditation which we can do even while engaging our professions, activities, etc. Right. Now, many times what happens is, people say, oh, this is a very dry meditation. Very dry. There is no joy, In devotion there is a joy. Whereas here, it's very dry. See, it is dry because you don't know the glory of consciousness. So while abiding in consciousness, while paying attention to consciousness, it is very essential that we should also know the glory of consciousness. What actually this consciousness is. So that is the next topic which is going to be taken. Even while shifting attention to consciousness, you should know who consciousness is. It is exactly like you are sitting next to a person. As long as you don't know the glory of that person, you will have no respect for that person. But suppose you come to know, oh, this person who is sitting next to me, he is such a person. Owner of a big company, or president, or prime minister, whatever. As long as you don't know, he is just a human being. You don't even care. But the moment somebody tells you, do you know who is sitting next to you? Such a person. Isn't it? Person was there, but you never paid attention. In the same way, all of us, we are experiencing consciousness. There is nobody who is not experiencing consciousness. Awareness is already, but we don't know its glory. So it's absolutely essential that we know the glory of the Lord. The glory of consciousness. It is true with everything. So there was this king who went into the forest and he lost his way. So then he was tired, exhausted. At that time he saw a woodcutter. That woodcutter said, sir, you just have to go through this way. This is the way. And king followed that path and he came out of that forest. He was very much grateful. So he came back and he gave a huge land of sandalwood forest, to this man as an expression of gratitude. So after 1 or 2 months, that king thought maybe now that woodcutter must have become really rich because it's a sandalwood forest. So he came by that way. And what did he find? He found that the whole sandalwood forest, all the trees were cut. It was burnt, rather. And there was a huge pile of charcoal. So the king came and asked, what did you do with all this? So the woodcutter said, sir, O king, charcoal has a good value in the market. What is the point? You may be having sandalwood, but if you don't know the value of sandalwood, there's no point having it. In the same way, we are all having consciousness. But unless we know the glory of consciousness, we will never have that respect, reverence, devotion towards this consciousness. That is why people use the term dry meditation. Vedanta is very dry, they say. Why is it dry? Because you don't know who this consciousness is. Turning attention to consciousness without knowing the glory of consciousness will not give you that joy, the spiritual joy. So therefore, the glory of consciousness must be known. This is the topic which is taken up next. So now let us chant verse number 4. Swapnantam jagaritantam Chobhau yenanupashyati Mahantam vibhumatmanam matva dhiro na shochati swapnantam jagaritantam chobhau yenanupashyate mahantam vibhumatmanam matva dhiro na shochati. Yes, you know this consciousness, its greatness, it is mahantam. It's mahan, great. Vibhum, it is all pervading. But oh Lord, how can you say that it is all pervading? Consciousness, I feel that it is inside this body. That's what I experience. How can you say it is all pervading? So now, an experiential proof is given. So what is said here? In your own experience, just analyze your experience, you will come to know what this consciousness is, its glory. Yena ubhau anupashyati. It is this consciousness in the light of which these two ubhau are seen. What are the two things? Swapnantam, jagaritantam. All the things being situation in the dream, how do you see? With consciousness. All these objects of the waking, how do you see? With consciousness. Now what does it mean? That's all. Now it is left up to you to think. Therefore, the conclusion is, it is Mahan, it is Vibhu. That's all the verse says. It is with this you experience the dream state. It is with this you experience the waking state. Therefore, this consciousness is Mahan, it is Vibhu. So how to understand this? Now see. In the dream, we all have a body, isn't it? When we go through the dream experiences, we have a separate dream body. We have a separate dream mind. Correct? So let us call this dream body as B1. And the dream mind is M1. Okay? Yes. Now when you wake up, there is a waking body. Let us call this body B2. Let us call this mind M2. Now, the dream we are conscious of. Let us call this consciousness in the dream, in the light of which the dream experiences we experience. Let us call it C1. So in the dream, what are the components? B1, M1 and C1. In the waking, what are the components? B2, the waking body, M2, the waking mind, and C2, the consciousness with which we are aware of waking experience. Clear? B1, M1, C1 in the dream, B2, M2, C2 in the waking. Is B1 equal to B2? No. In the dream, you are given a separate body. In the waking, that body is separate. So B1 not equal to B2. Is M1 equal to M2? No. The mind, the emotions, the feeling, everything is different. So M1 not equal to M2. What about C1 and C2? That consciousness with which I am aware of dream experiences, is it different from that consciousness because of which I am aware of waking state experiences? Are they different? How to prove? We say they are not different, they are same because it is the waker himself who is recollecting the experiences of the dream. If the waker can recollect the experiences of the dream, what does it mean? The waker was present in the dream. How was the waker present? Was he present with B1, M1? No. The waker was present as awareness. So I, the waker, I was aware of what happened in the dream. So what does it mean? The awareness of the dream is same as awareness of the waking. So therefore we have to say C1 equal to C2. What does it imply? What implies is consciousness is the only thing which is present both in the dream and the waking. The rest, everything changes. But there is only one changeless substratum, and that is consciousness. So therefore, consciousness is all-pervading. It is that substratum upon which mind is only projecting. In the dream state, mind projects the dream world. In the waking state, mind projects the waking world. Mind is projecting, but in order to project, there has to be a screen upon which projection has to happen. What is that screen? Consciousness is the screen. What is the proof? In both these states, consciousness is present. Remember here, deep sleep state is not taken at all. Why? It is not taken because we really don't know what happens there. No point in discussing something which we are not experiencing. So only those topics are taken which actually we experience and where there is no doubt. Right. Only 2 states are taken. So it is Mahan. Consciousness is Mahan. Why? It is that which exists. Everything else is only an illusory projections upon it. Therefore it is Mahan. Consciousness is that which gives existence to the dream world, to the waking world. So that which gives existence has to be Mahan, great. That which gives existence should be the substratum. You see the way the analysis is going. Waking and dream, they are all mental projections. Now suddenly see how the whole topic has changed. Sense organs prove to us that I am in the world. And Vedanta tells us, no, you are not in the world is in you. Are you able to see the difference? I, the pure consciousness, is lying like a huge vast ocean. In me, the infinite consciousness, there is a wave of dream. It goes away. Then there is another wave of waking. The wave is not real, water is real. Thoughts are not real, consciousness is real. Now you have to analyze your experience in this light. So now we are seeing a waking world. Where are you seeing this waking world? This world is seen in the mind. What is mind? It is nothing but thoughts. Where are these thoughts? These thoughts are in awareness, in consciousness. You see? So what is the Vedantic analysis? This world is just a projection of the mind. And this mind is existing in consciousness. I am that consciousness. You see the glory of consciousness. With this understanding, you have to shift your attention to consciousness. This consciousness is everything. It alone exists. So when you start doing this meditation, what happens? Matva dhiraha nashochati. All your sorrows vanish. Because what is the basis of all sorrow? All sorrows are based on this notion that someday or the other I will die. Death is the basis of all sorrow. The moment you come to know, oh, I am not this wave, I am this infinite water which has no death at all. These states of the mind, they keep on changing. How does it matter? I, the substratum, the consciousness, has no death. Once you know yourself as consciousness, all the sorrows vanish. Matva dhiraha na shochati. Shochati means shoka, sorrow. What is the nature of this consciousness? It is Ananda Swarupa. So when you are shifting your attention more and more to this consciousness, what happens is you start experiencing the properties of consciousness. What is the properties of consciousness? Sat, Chit, Anand. You become more and more alert because Chit aspect is there. You start experiencing a state of immortality because Sat aspect is there. You start causelessly happy. There is no cause needed for happiness. There is no cause needed because it's your nature. There is no reason needed for fire to become hot because heat is the nature of fire. No reason is needed. In the same way, happiness is our nature. Contentment is our nature. Cheerfulness is our nature. Peace is our nature. Quietude is our nature. So when you are shifting your attention to this consciousness in you, shoka disappears. Because shoka is not your nature. That which is your nature remains. That which is not your nature, they disappear. Nanu shochanti panditaha. The wise people don't grieve because grief is not our nature. So therefore, what should we do in life? Pay attention to who you are. That's the next verse. Verse number 5. Ya imam madhvadam veda atmanam jivamantikat Ishanam bhuta bhavyasya na tato vijugupsate etat vaitat ya imam madhvadam veda atmanam jivamantikat Ishanam bhuta bhavyasya na tato vijugupsate etat vaitat. Yaha, the one who imam, this entity which we are experiencing every moment, this entity. Now what is our understanding about this entity? Jivam, a jivatma, an individual soul. Madhu, Adam. Madhu means honey. Adam means eater. This eater of honey. Now what is this eater of honey? The one who is experiencing the karma phala. Karma phala bhokta. So how did we land up into this world? So yesterday we discussed. We desired something in the past birth. To fulfill the desire, we all have come to this world, isn't it? So what are we doing? We are experiencing the desired object. And since this object is desired object, it is madhu, honey. Isn't it? There was some unfulfilled desire in the past. To fulfill that, we have come here. So in this birth, what are we doing? We are interacting with the desired objects. Things, beings and situations. So since they are all desired, since we are attached to them, so therefore we are enjoying it. So therefore it is called as honey. So madhvada means karma phala bhokta. Simple. So this entity, this jivatma, who is madhvadam, who is going through all kinds of experiences of life, who is thoroughly enjoying his life by being near to what he likes, running away from what he dislikes. This Jiva, the one who Antikat Veda, Antikat, pay attention closely. See who is this one? Antikat, go near. Don't take it for granted. I am such and such. No. Pay attention. How do you pay attention? Avritta chakshu. Go within and look, who is this? Who is this Jivatma? Antikat. Go near and see. Don't see from far away. With an alert mind, do self-enquiry. Then what you find there? Ishanam bhuta bhavyasya. What you find there is not a Jivatma there. You find Paramatma himself there. Tat tvam asi. And what is our experience when you look into Aham Brahma asmi. Ishanam bhuta bhavyasya. Bhuta and bhavya. Bhuta means the past. Bhavya means future. Ishanam, the Lord of past and future. Now, what does it mean, Lord of past and future? Does it mean the Lord who knows past and future? No. In Vedanta, the meaning is different. So here it means the Lord of time, because past and future is nothing but time. So Ishanam means the Lord of time. What do you mean Lord of time? The one who is unaffected by the passage of time is called Lord of time. Such an entity, in Vedantic language we say, such an entity has conquered Kala, conquered time. So who is the one who has conquered time? The one who remains unaffected by the passage of time has conquered time. Everything else which gets affected by the passage of time has been conquered by time. So Ishanam bhuta bhavyasya. So what do you find when you look within? You find that you are not this entity, this Jivatma, this BMI. You are consciousness Om. And this Om is Ishanam, Lord. This consciousness has no decay. Right. Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tatha dehantara praptihi dhirastatra namukhyati. When we pay attention to ourselves, what do we see? Body is continuously changing. Kaumaram, Yauvanam, Jara, all these changes are seen at the body level. Childhood state, teenager stage, adult stage, old. We are seeing it. But there is some entity in us which is just watching this change. Kutastha. Without itself changing, it is just observing the change. This is what happens when you look within. That awareness, that consciousness. What is the proof that consciousness doesn't change? In my childhood body, I remember all those childhood memories, experiences. The very same I, in my old age, in this old body, am remembering that. So what does it mean? The recollector is the same as experiencer. The experience of the child, experiencer in the childhood is the very same recollector in the old age. So it's the same. Who is that? Consciousness. So therefore we can say this consciousness is Ishanam bhuta bhavyasya, the Lord of time. Because It is unaffected by time. If this conclusion we can derive, that throughout my life, body has been dying so many times, but I, the awareness, that witness has never died. If this is true, then naturally we can extend this logic. Tatha dehantara prapti. So if this logic is true, that even when body was changing, I remain changeless. So even when the body dies, I must remain changeless because I have nothing to do with the body. I am unaffected by the changes in the body. This itself is a proof that I am immortal. Right. Ishanam bhuta bhavyasya. What happens to a person who gains this knowledge? Na tataha vijugupsate. There will not be any vijugupsa. What is vijugupsa? So Bhagavan Shankaracharya says, na vijugupsate, na gopaitum ichchati. He will never try to protect himself. Why? Once a person knows that he is not the body, he is firmly established in it, will he try to protect the body? If I am not the body, why should I protect it? Exactly like we never try to protect our shadow. Swamiji, do you mean to say that the jnanis, they will not take care of their body? That's a different topic altogether. What is written here, I am saying. In that firm, that highest state where that person is totally established in consciousness, we can say samadhi avastha. Yes, this is true. Right. Natato vijugupsate. Now there is another meaning for Vijugupsa also. Hatred is also called Vijugupsa. Natato Vijugupsate means there is no feeling of hatred towards others. There is a vision of oneness. Just like I am consciousness, everyone is consciousness, so we are all one. So how can you hate somebody who is your own self? That is also true. So one meaning of Vijugupsa is to protect oneself. See, the point is this. When the body becomes old and dying, such a person is able to gracefully accept old age. This happens with this knowledge. This is the point. There is no complaining and grumbling when the body becomes weak, old, helpless. Why? Because this is not me. This is Sharira Dharma. It has to go through. Asti, jayate, vardhate, viparinamate, apakshiyate, vinashyati. This is what the body has to go through. You are able to cheerfully accept the choiceless situation. This is what this knowledge does to a person. This body is an instrument. This body is meant to use in the world. A time will come when every instrument will have an expiry date. So you are able to accept the decaying and dying of the body. Because I am not that, it is only my instrument with this knowledge. So what should happen with Vedantic maturity in a person? This is what happens. Cheerfully accepting the old age. This definitely happens. Natato vijugupsate. Now a question may come. Okay, I understand that this consciousness is great and immortal, everything. But in front of me there is a huge world. There has to be somebody who is governing this world. The laws are seen. What about this world? Yes, I understand this consciousness is immortal. Okay, fine, everything fine. But what about this world? So therefore, now the topic changes to this world, Jagat. Right? And the essence of this next verse is, this Jagat also is governed by the very same consciousness. Verse number 6. Yaf purvam tapaso jatam adbhyaf purvam ajayata guham pravishya tishthantam yo bhutebhirvyapashyata etat vaitat yaf purvam tapaso jatam adbhyaf purvam ajayata guham pravishya tishthantam yo bhutebhirvyapashyata. Yes. Yaf purvam jatam tapasaha jatam adbhyaf purvam ajayata. So now there are certain concepts which should be made clear. There are two terms used in Vedanta. One is called Nirguna Brahman, the other is called Saguna Brahman. Nirguna and Saguna. Brahman in its purest form is called Nirguna, not associated with creation. That's called as Nirguna Brahman. And what is his nature? Sat Chit Ananda is his nature. By itself, what is reality? It is Nirguna Brahman, of the nature of Satchidanand. But when that Brahman gets associated with creation, gets involved in creation, that Brahman is called Saguna Brahman. Right. So that Saguna Brahman will be called the Lord of the universe. Now the descriptions will change. That Nirguna Brahman, in association with creation, when he involves in this Srishti Sthiti Laya process, creation, sustenance, dissolution, then that Nirguna Brahman is called Saguna Brahman. Okay. So then, what will be the definition of that Saguna Brahman? Sarvavyapi, Sarvashaktiman, Sarvajnaha, all-knowing, all-powerful, all-pervading. These will be the definition. All compassionate, all knowing, all loving. Karuna Sagar, ocean of compassion, etc. Now these are all the descriptions of Saguna Brahman. It is exactly like a person by himself, he is a human being. But with respect to his son, he is father. Who is his father? Very same human being. With respect to son, he becomes a father. With respect to his wife, he becomes a husband. With respect to his father, he becomes a son. With respect to his office, he becomes an officer. But basically who he is? He is a human being. Right? Are you able to connect? So Nirguna Brahman is like that human being. Not related to anything. By itself, what is it? It is Satchidanand. But in association with the role it plays, its name will be Saguna Brahman. Just like this person becomes father, husband, officer, etc. Right? If this person has some ability, maybe singing ability, then he will be called a singer. You see? Same person. Based on the role, he is given different name. He is the same person. But when he is not doing anything, not playing any role, by itself, he is just a human being. Correct? Yes. So this clarity has to be there. Now here, that supreme consciousness, when it is engaged in creation, that consciousness is called Saguna Brahman. Sometimes in scriptures it is also called as Hiranyagarbha. These are all different names. Now you will hear so many names for this Saguna Brahman. One name is Hiranyagarbha. In some context it is called Ishvara. Sometimes it is called Virat. Sometimes it is called Prana. That is going to come in the next verse. Sometimes it is called Aditi. Again in the next verse. These are the terms used. But basically it is Saguna Brahman. So that pure consciousness in association with Maya engages in creation. This is how the scriptures say. Maya is a Shakti. It's a power. So with the power of Maya, he does creation. So during creation, what is he called? Saguna Brahman or Hiranyagarbha or all those names. Otherwise, by itself, it is pure consciousness. Nirguna Brahman. So, as Saguna Brahman, who is he? He is consciousness identified with the totality of the universe. There is an identification there. Now this concept also has to be understood. That is what is being said here now. So there is a body and there is consciousness associated with that body. So the name of the consciousness will depend upon where its identification is. A unicellular organism, it's also a living being. So consciousness identified with the body of a unicellular organism is called unicellular organism. Now this unicellular organism is in the stomach of a worm. Right? Consciousness identified with the body of the worm is called worm. Are you able to see this? Very same consciousness. Now this worm is in our stomach. Consciousness identified with this body is called me. Are you able to see this? One unicellular organism is inside that worm. That worm is inside us. Now if this is the logic, I am in something. Where am I? I am a part of this cosmos. I am inside cosmos just like the worm is inside me. I am inside this cosmos. So if this logic is true, so there has to be a consciousness which is identified with the totality of everything. Some name has to be given. That name is Saguna Brahman. You call it Ishvara, you call it Hiranyagarbha. Correct? So now I have an individual mind. He will have a cosmic mind. So when I am seeing this world, now for example this camera, I am seeing, you are seeing, individual minds are seeing. Why are we seeing it? We are seeing it because it is projected by the cosmic mind. Whatever the cosmic mind projects, the individual minds have to see. But my likes and dislikes, I may like it, I may not like it. This is not the projection of the cosmic mind. This is the projection of the individual mind, which I alone see. Others don't see. Right? Just like there is an individual body, there is a cosmic body, the totality of everything. So when consciousness identifies with the totality, he becomes a Lord. Right. Now let us see this verse. Yaha purvaha jatam, purvam jatam. That Lord who is born before the creation. Naturally, the creator has to be before the creation. Creation comes afterwards. Creator comes beginning. Tapasaha jatam. How did he create this world? Out of tapas. Now this term is also very interesting. What is tapas? Tapas means austerity. What is austerity? Austerity means discipline. So when we say a person is doing tapas, what is he actually doing? He is disciplining himself. Disciplining at the body level, at the mind level, at the sense organs level. Any disciplining process is called tapas. Right? What are we doing sitting here? We are also doing tapas. What tapas are we doing? Jnana tapas. Why is it called jnana tapas? We are training our thinking. We are training to think right. That is satsang. There are so many erroneous ways of thinking, but we have to train our thinking to think right. This training given to the thinking to think right is called jnana tapas. Right. So now here it is said, Yaha tapasaha jatam. This Lord, how did he create this world? Out of tapas. Now what tapas? So Bhagavan Shankaracharya, right? Jnana tapas. Means what? The whole creation is not just a chaos, some accidental creation. No, there is a perfect science behind it. There is a discipline of knowledge behind it. It's a disciplined creation. It's a perfect creation. How can you say that? What is the basis of this creation? Remember, the basis of creation is karma. What jiva has done what karma, with what intention, all these factors are taken into account, and accordingly karma phala is given. And based on this karma phala, some jivas are born as plants, some jivas are born as insects, some jivas are born as birds, some are born as animals, some are born as human beings. And even these beings are born in particular place, to a particular parent. There is a perfect science, there is a perfect discipline. So the whole creation is tapasaha jatam. This is called tapas. There is a perfection in creation. With infinite knowledge, that Lord has made this creation. Adbhyav purvam ajayata. So that Lord, who is there even before Adbhya. Adbhya means water. The one who is born before water. If you see the literal meaning, you will not understand the head and tail of it. The one who is born before water. The one who is born out of tapas. The one who is born before. What do you mean? There is a literal translation. Adbhyav purva means water is only an upalakshana, is only one term. It means the five elements. So for all the five elements, one word is used, water. So the one who is born before the five elements, meaning he is the creator. The creator has to be born before the creation. Now, an interesting thing. How can the Lord be born? In the first verse, the term used was Swayambhu, unborn. And now it is said born. No. The creation was born. So when the creation is born, the one who is identifying with the creation also is born. It is not that the Lord is born, but identification with that new creation is born. Thus he will get a new name, Ishvara, the Lord. See? So that Lord, Yaha, who is the creation? Who is the creator? Who is he? Guham pravishyatishtantam. That very same Lord, where is he? Guha. He has entered into a cave and now he is seated there. Which cave? So it is a cave of the heart. Cave of the heart of the Jivatma. So that very same Lord who has created this whole universe, where is He now? Right in our heart. Tishtantam, He is seated there. Bhutebihi tishtantam. Surrounded by the bhutas. Bhutas means the 5 elements. Or the body, in short. Associated with the body, He is seated in the cave of heart of all beings. Who? The very same Lord who is governing the whole world. Means what? That consciousness identifying with the totality is not different from this consciousness identified with this BMI. There is no difference. Both are one and the same. Therefore what? If I have known this consciousness, I have already known that Lord. Are you able to see the logic? I don't have to try to find out God. Just know yourself. Bas. Isha darshanam swa atma rupatah. Bas. If you have known yourself, you have known the Lord. Problem is solved. And therefore, what we should do? Avritta chakshuhu. Look within. Find out who you are. The mystery of life, the mystery of creation, everything will be solved. Right. Om Namo Narayanaya. 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 Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah. Sarve Santu Niramayah. Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu. Akasyid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Asato Ma Sadgamaya. Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya. Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.